I'm back, and here's the usual. Welcome to another video on this channel. Today you can see where I am, but I don't have just Kaiserreich active today. Today I'm also playing with the project Gorgeous Submod. Anyway, I will be playing as the Qing government and go down the Republic path. So let's head in. And yeah, here we are. And like I said in the intro, we are playing with the project Gorgeous Kaiserreich submod, which doesn't add like content, not really, since the submod mainly just focuses on states. That's mainly what this submod does, adding a boatload of states that, you know, so you can better LARP with the borders, I suppose. Also here in China there are a few border changes, especially can be seen with Datong no longer being a long stick. Has been shortened here and there, which honestly I like it way more like this than it is in the base game, to be honest, but you know, it's not that important to me. Yeah, however, now's the question, why the hell are we playing the submod in the first place if it only what it does is add states? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we in China? Actually, no, that's not a good question. It would be weird if you were not in China. Since the submod not just adds states, it also adds a few cosmetic things, you know, like you can have different colors for Germany and France, I think. Though you have to set it up in the settings, which I didn't, because I forego and also don't really care that much. But for the Qing government, you have a few things that they do add. There's some focuses they add for the Manchu restoration, but I'm not going to be doing that today. We're going to go Republic. As with this submod, we can, you know, get a little bit away from our authoritarian democratic path right here. We have the option to transition into a true democracy, however pretty late, but 2 minutes too much for me. And yeah, that's why I'm gonna be playing this, you know. Any reason to play China, especially the Zhili. Yeah, as you know from me yabbering here and there sometimes, the Qing government, specifically the Republic path, is one of my favorites. I like the Zhili clique, okay? Leave me alone. I love my corrupt young warlords, okay? So yeah, anyway, like in our timeline, the Zhili got pounded by Fengtian and the Kuomintang that had betrayed them in the Second Zhili-Fengtian War, losing Beijing and being forced to retreat into Henan, Hubei and Hunan. That was the last really remaining provinces they had. Since Sun Quanfang, after their defeat, had broken away, forming his league with his loyal generals, starting a power struggle in the Zhili basically, as he had been a lot more powerful than the recently crushed northern Zhili under Wu Peifu. However, through German support and the Kuomintang and Fengtian getting into a fight, they managed to survive and defeat both the Kuomintang and the Fengtian, establishing a 10 years order over the country. However, even though, you know, Germany claims, you know, China is now this country here, and they also, you know, claim this, the countries here now, it's far from the reality, as while nominally bowing down to the Zhili, these guys are all but independent from our government. That can be seen in our debt issue. We have inherited, of course, the Qing debt all these years ago, since, you know, we are the legitimate government recognized by most countries. So we gotta also pay, you know, the recognized debt. And these debts are being not really... We can't really effectively pay them back since none of these provinces they're not paying their taxes, they're not paying their dues, they're not... We are not getting any money from these provinces, especially this guy. So yeah, going into the Year of the Rat, the Chinese New Year, it's gonna be important to handle the debt issue. That's our biggest problem right now. You know, at least we have peace, so everything should be fine, as long as, you know, nothing major happens. The last major crisis we had was the 1932 Shanghai Uprising, but that ended with the left political spectrum getting crushed into the ground, and us having postponed the elections. So we have no elections. We like called off the elections in 1933. So you know, since then we haven't had any elections. So, you know, it's not really democratic, but who cares about that anyway? Right, Saukon? But yeah, of course, the elephant in the room has not been addressed yet. The Germans did force the Qing monarchy on our you know, on us. Which, you know, that is like one thing a lot of people just, you know, don't really like, seeing it as unrealistic and things, which, yeah, the Germans probably do not give a shit who rules the country, as long as they, you know, allow them to exploit. But, we're not gonna be keeping them. But more on that later. Now, of course, as the legitimate government, we do have the strongest army of all of these. The one coming close to us is Sun Xuanfang with his large army. But his influence has been kind of curbed since the Shanghai Uprising, which is great for us since that guy, you know, if, you know, that didn't happen, he probably would have crushed our asses. But for now, our dual power in Beijing and Nanjing remains. You know, everything's fine and dandy. All we gotta do is deal with our debt, build up some industry in the center of the country, in case something bad happens and I have to retreat into the center. I learned my lesson from the Qing stream, where I built all my industry in Beijing, and then, oh shit, I have to retreat into the center, and all my industry was in the north. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. But yeah, let's train these guys up, and yeah, I wanna build some support equipment and infantry equipment. That's gonna be pretty important. Let's get some trains. And yeah, let us begin. Train talks derailed in Taiwan. Hahaha. Train talks derailed. So funny. Anyway, bad news. The Jigant Railroad has been sold to the Germans. So, you know, you might be thinking, okay, like, who cares? A lot of people actually do care. As you know, that railway here, it was meant to, you know, connect Nanchang, Hangzhou, and was funded by a lot of Chinese people, and, you know, was hoped to, you know, be a great sign with the German corporation, as it has a lot of tensions here and there, since, you know, they're kind of exploiting us here and there, you know, but we kind of want to, you know, have, you know, something that represents good cooperation and not just, you know, have the bad cooperation everywhere. However, this railway and many others had been sold apparently now. You know, the railway that was funded a lot by also the Chinese people, and now it's no longer in the Chinese hands. It belongs to the Germans now. Not a good sign, you know. So yeah, let's hope it's not as bad as, you know, it could be. You know, gotta deal with our debt now. So Cao Kun gave a speech in the assembly that, you know, paying off the debt is gonna be pretty smart. And yeah, as we see, widespread attacks on foreigners. They did not like the railway selling. They did not like the railway selling. Now, we can't support Shen Hongying in the south, which we are gonna do. You know, the more guys we have on our side, the better. However, I will only do this if I don't have to spend political power. Right now we don't have guns, so can't really do anything on that. Anyway, like I said, we really need money. So let's ask these guys to pay their due provincial taxes. These haven't been paid since Tuan Chiroy's Unwakelijk fell. And yeah, the only ones that actually paid their due taxes were these guys over here. Of course, pretty understandably, Shandong, Sun Xuanfang and his governors and Xinjiang refused, which, you know, that was clear. I mean, this guy's province has basically been completely untouched by our government, so he does not give a shit. And yeah, Sun Xuanfang, he does not give a shit what we have to say. And Shandong, of course, you know, is not really that loyal to us. That guy. However, what has surprised us is that these sovereign governors here have refused to send anything, which, you know, not a good sign, you know, with all the constitutional protection stuff that had happened down there. You know, they're still not cooperating with us. That's a bad sign. So what are they planning down there? Anyway, let's get some more money. And yeah, there was a massacre in Wuhu, which, yeah, that's not a good sign. So, you know, we sent a telegram, you know, trying to, you know, find out how the situation is and if Sun Xuanfang needs any help. And he said that everything is under control. And that's all. Yeah, right, under control, my ass. And yeah, we already saw it, but Anhui province has broken away from the league under Chen Tiaoyan. And this guy does not like the increased cooperation with the Germans and their blatant exploitation. And with all the chaos unfolding in the league, he has now finally broken away and is now seeking our intervention, or like our support for him. However, yeah, no, I'm not gonna fund your ass. Bro, stop asking. Alright, with the chaos in the league now unfolding, let's hold an emergency meeting of the cabinet, since we gotta, you know, discuss the problems that are happening down there right now. You know, we wanna keep the peace and all. It's not great that all these things are not happening. Okay, well, I think shit just hit the fan. Sun Xuanfang has been shot, which is pretty bad since he was the one holding the league together, and with his death, the provinces are gonna be thrown into chaos now. You know, there's still the left Kuomintang resisting around the Mingan region here, so I think there's a problem now. And yeah, with the league in chaos, our navy has to flee north now, since our main port was down there. We don't really have any port on our main port under our control in the north. Tianjin is the only one, but that's not our territory, so that sucks. And yeah, with chaos unfolding, Qi Shiyuan has couped the government in the league, taking the reins. No one likes this guy, by the way, so this is definitely the nail in the coffin for the league. And now he's requesting no support. But like, honestly, he can handle this on his own. I don't care. I don't want to support him. Well, with Qi Shiyuan now taking the reins and Sun Fang having been shot, which had thrown the league into chaos, the southern Zhili, their influence is kind of waning, which is not great, since they were the counterbalance that also, you know, supported us holding this country together, you know, and that's pretty bad. So yeah, and with us now, you know, backing nobody, it's not gonna be liked that much by anyone, and of course we're gonna get hit by an economic crisis now in Germany. Wow, as if our money problems weren't bad enough already. Anyway, worst of all, like I said, with the league no longer being a major power bloc, delusion of Jing hegemony shatters. We've lost however little control we had over the country, meaning, yeah, China's now a free-for-all. And with our order collapsing, the Mingan insurgency seized a chance and rose up, meaning the league is now in all-out warfare. So much for peace. And with our inaction, the people have begun to protest. Well, that's not good. Gotta deal with that now. And yeah, as expected, the southern governors have broken free too. We already had our suspicions when they did not, you know, pay back their provincial taxes, and it's very clear that they intend to stand firm against our authority. On other news, the governor of Hubei has invaded Enshi, since the small sliver is actually part of his province. However, it's under the Sichuan clique, and with the Sichuan clique also being now in a state of civil war, since the guy controlling Chongqing, Liu Xiang, you know, he kinda wants the governorship of Sichuan, and we didn't give it to him, so that guy fucking hates us. But, you know, Shao Yaonan, you know, his invasion was not done with our approval, so, what the hell? Can he do that, guys? Is that allowed? He can't just act on his own, man. Okay, it would seem the Anqing have died and some of their generals have arrived here now. So why don't we accept them back? Yeah, come here, the more the merrier. And yeah, as expected, without our support, how could he hope to defeat Liu Xiang's army? We've lost some unnecessary manpower with that, so fucking loser, man. Can't believe he did that. And yeah, with our popularity waning due to our non-intervention, there are some whispers of discontent in our country, or like the, you know, the regions we control, I guess. As, you know, while we dominate the assembly, we aren't fully in control of everything. There are still some other factions we have to contend with, mainly the Zhongshe party, which is comprised mainly of Manchu nobles, and the Chinese Empire Reform Association, who seek to, you know, as their name implies, reform the empire, and the Young China Party. And these opposition parties have now begun secret talks with each other to form a coalition against us in the hopes of purging the Zhili clique from power. And it's not just the parties, there are also some generals in our ranks that have attended these talks, one of them being Xing Shilian, who's not very happy about the lack of promotions. Well, let's keep an eye on this. Well, worst case scenario has happened. Liu Xiang has seized control over Sichuan. Now, the opposition, united under the emperor, they know that they cannot possibly challenge our military might, so they need some outside help. and before them lie 2 cliques that have a sizable army that could, you know, with their help, put up a fight against the Zhili, that being Yan Xishan in Shanxi and Zhang Tianran in Shandong. And they decide to contact Yan Xishan. Now, Yan has responded, and he's not fully convinced of our plot succeeding and what position he will hold if we go through with it and succeed. So let's play on his ambition, emphasize his future role as master of China, you know, tempt him towards our side with a lot of power. And it would seem he accepted. Well, let us hope this works. Omnious troop movements. Well, with Yan having accepted, he has begun moving his troops to our borders and stockpiling weapons, preparing some sort of operation on our border. This has, of course, you know, not evaded our eyes. So, what's going on here? Dispatch more spies to investigate this. And it would appear that our suspicions were founded, as Yan Xishan is cooperating with the Manchu princes to overthrow our regime. Arrest these plotters and prepare to invade Shanxi. Well, this cannot go unpunished. And with the plot being uncovered, the Qing monarchy that has been forced upon us will be removed. Zhonghua Minghua Wan Sui. Long live the Republic of China. Well, time to reorganize our government now. Since, you know, that's a big change we're having now. Well, we have dealt with the protests and the Qing monarchy that had tried to destroy our government from within. So let the 5-banner flag fly. We shall now try and fix our situation here, as our government now has been thrown in complete chaos by the coup and the expulsion of major parties. So we gotta reorganize, especially constitution-wise, since, you know, we're no longer a monarchy. We gotta change a few things. Now, there are 2 options before us. We could either readopt Cao Kun's old constitution, which is very progressive and expensive. However, you know, there are some things that the constitution is still not really perfect. Or we could draft a completely new one, though that's gonna take a bit. However, it will give us a lot more, you know, goodwill with the people. So let's do that. Well, one of the most important matters in this new constitution is, do we want to give more power to the executive or balance it out with the legislature? Now, of course, you might be thinking, okay, why would this even be a discussion? We want to make a great country, so of course we should have a balanced system. Well, a bit complicated in a country that hasn't really seen, you know, democracy. As a reminder, as having a balanced system is not really great if the legislature and executive are constantly at odds with each other. Like in the case with Duan Zirui and Li Yuanhong, or Duan and Fang Guozhang as well, being in a feuding diarchy. So there was, you know, afterwards the executive was greatly strengthened, so that, you know, there was no infighting. However, there are still people that want a balanced system. The likes of Wang Chonghui and Hu Shi desire a strong parliament and prime minister. Let's listen to them. Good governance by good people is imperative. Well, Yan'an has fallen. The same goes for Taiwan, which will put an end to the Shanxi clique, as those are their main major cities. So, yeah, bye-bye. With this, we have also destroyed our enemy number uno, Feng Yuxiang, the traitorous general, who had betrayed us all the way back in the Second Zhili-Fengtian War. And also one of our biggest borders is now secured, as the Ma cliques are too divided to, you know, and also uninterested in expanding into our territories. Anyway, another big issue with the constitution will be federalism or centralism. Now, all the way back when the Zhili won over the Fengtian in the first Zhili-Fengtian War, they had began talks with the south in order for a peaceful reunification, because that was what the Anhui-Zhili split was all about. The Anhui wanted to reconquer the south by force, while the Zhili under Feng Guozhang wanted a peaceful solution. However, this peaceful solution was never meant to be, as Wu Peifu had a strong distaste for the federalism that the south wanted to promote. So these talks in the end fell through. So now we are back at square one. But now federalism, you know, is showing its face again, as Jiang Baili and Hu Shi are both demanding to put federalism into the constitution now, as, you know, a country this divided would benefit from a system like that instead of forcing everyone into submission. However, Cao Kun is vehemently opposed to federalism. However, not many people are, of course, in favor of federalism, since, you know, having great autonomy in the provinces is just gonna lead to another Warlord era, right? That's why we need a strong unitary government centralized around Beijing to ensure stability. But perhaps federalism will win their hearts. And now we celebrate, for our new constitution has finally been drafted. However, not all is well, as our president Cao Kun is a spent force. He's very old now, and with the whole Manchu coup affair, he has reached his limit, as he's now bound to step down, and a new president will be selected, not really elected. But let us celebrate for our new Beiyang constitution. There are only two candidates fit for this role. One is Hu Shi and the other is Wellington Koo. Hu Shi is a non-partisan liberal pragmatist, while Wellington Koo has been acting as foreign minister for various Beiyang governments. So both men have experience and are perfect candidates to replace Cao Kun. And also, they are rather popular, as they are not fully with the Zhili, you know, a fresh start, basically. A show of goodwill, having a president that is not of the military. And we will go with Hu Shi. And with this, our new republic is inaugurated. Congratulations, Hu Shi. Alright. Now we can begin. First of all, let's deal with our debts, because that was our main issue, and we still have not dealt with that with all the chaos unfolding. Now, there are two options. We could try reaching out to the Germans and negotiate a new deal. However, it's unsure if they would agree or not with, you know, all the things we have done now. Or the simpler option of defaulting on our debt. Of course, this is very controversial with the international states, you know, showing that we refuse to pay back debt that we owe. So for a few years, we're probably not gonna trade with anyone. They see our government as a vile snake. But we don't really have any other choice. Default, it's the only choice. Alright, before we continue over here, we need to fix a few things, and that is our army. And having defaulted on our debt, we also are resigning from the Legation Council, as we don't see any need to cooperate with the Westerners. China for the Chinese. Having thrown the Germans out the window, their Prosperity League in our assembly dissolves. And with the fall of the Prosperity League, a kinda diminished force is resurging. The political science clique under Huang Fu, they do not like the Zhili, so one stain replaced by another. Now before us are two military reform plans. One is the Jiang Baili plan, and the other the Tang Zhaili plan. And we will go for Jiang Baili's plan, since it pretty fits our new republic, with the whole exceptional self-sacrifice and zealous devotion to the nation, you know. And also, we can, you know, rid ourselves a bit of the Germans now. I don't really want to copy their military now. Anyway, to prevent something similar from the Manchu plot to happen again, we're gonna establish a secret police now to, you know, monitor the political situation. Well, and it would seem that Shi Yuan has brought the League back from certain destruction, destroying the left Kuomintang now. The Federalists have taken charge in Liangguang as well as in Hunan. Still unsure what Yunnan is gonna do. Oh, okay. Speak of the devil. So it's a pretty federalist south. Okay. Though even with our reforms, these guys have become pretty disillusioned with our governments from the last decade. So any negotiations with them is probably not gonna lead to anything. Anyway, let's build up our government now. Alright, someone is speedrunning war support. I'm actually, sometimes I really do wonder, how the hell do they get this much war support so early on? Like what? What? Okay, well, I don't know if they will immediately go after me, or if they're gonna, you know, if the guys kinda gonna wait a little bit, since they are as much as prepared as I am, so it wouldn't really matter too much for me. Also, since the South China War still, or like anything down there, still hasn't really happened. I mean, okay, it does not really do happen. I should be fine, but yeah, I need more equipment or else I'm gonna get killed by these guys, which we don't want. So, problem, we got attacked by Shancheng, we're gonna get attacked by Sichuan, and both the Guangzhou and Fengtian are justifying on us, which we cannot defeat Shandong that easily since we don't have fucking supplies around here. And they have 1 billion divisions now, where they got the resources for those. So, gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to retreat somewhere. And that somewhere is a good question. I think around our southern territories, honestly. That is the only... that's where we have to retreat, but we're getting attacked from everywhere. So yeah, half of our forces in the north and the other half in the south. There is no other way. We cannot hold this. So yeah, let's blow everything up in the north and get the hell out of here. This is fine. Alright, for now we are holding the territory. For now. Who knows how long. They formed their government now finally, and they can attack the south, and also, you know, attack us at some point. I have 12 divisions in training, so I could fill up that front line, but this is not the best front line to hold. So let's pray to God. I mean, the north at least is fine since they can really push me. They're not that powerful. And they're a great buffer against the way scarier Fengtian. They can do nothing. Yeah, the south is just a bit problematic since it's like 4 clicks on my ass. So yeah, let's also do our last reform before I forget. And yeah, so yeah, for now we're holding. And as you know, usually they don't declare on each other, even, you know, if they're being blocked here. I don't even know if they can. Like, they probably should be able to, but yeah, whatever. My 12 divisions are now fully trained, so just put them out. Let's pray to God. I have no idea how I'm holding this, to be honest. The only thing that pisses me off is them sending like divisions up here in the north. Like, I do not need them up there. I think I'm just gonna actually do something. I'm just gonna these guys on 1 division here. And have the majority go where they actually need it. Just so you know, this is not fun. Fighting this here. I'm now at the point here where it's fine to hold. Actually, I'm not. I had to build a railway here because like this thing was constantly switching hands, and you know, that's what, you know, that's what keeps my supplies in the north alive. Okay, so I do need this railway here, which is why I'm doing everything to secure it. You know, it is pretty annoying. Oh yeah, and as you see, the frontline reinforcement thing was like pissing me off. So yeah, we're holding like this now in these fronts here. Equipment is fine since I can buy some equipment with these decisions from my focus here, which is what I've been doing, which is what's kept me sustained, I suppose. But yeah, can Japan intervene, please? Like, come on, at some point your timer has to go on, man. How did the losses anyway? Fiction lost nothing because they never fought me. Oh my god, what is this, bro? Jesus, man. Yes, we need to unite against the Fengtian and Japanese. Why are we killing each other, man? Are we stupid? If you're, by the way, wondering, this is not a division. This is the division which I'm using. Yeah, I have equipment troubles because I don't have steel. Who would have guessed? There's no steel down here. Well, there's a little bit, but like, yeah. Okay, thank the Lord. Finally. Oh my god. Finally, man. Oh my god. Oh yeah, wait, I keep Beijing and stuff because they own it. Okay. I'm not gonna do any fighting because my equipment does not exist, except if, you know, the problem arises in the front, whatever. But I need to recover now from what I just had to fight. Okay, we destroyed a few divisions from the Japanese. Here in, they landed down there. Well, first of all, I killed like a lot up here, but as you can see, they regained the territory. And then I moved down there where they also had like a gazillion divisions. So I did my best to just try and encircle them and kill as many as possible, which worked perfectly actually. And yeah, as you can see, that really thinned like the stuff they had on the front line. Like, they had so many more divisions here, and now they barely have anything. So let's try and push into Fengtian now. Well, and after, I don't know, a few years, 2 years, 3 years, I don't remember when I lost it, we regained Beijing finally. And that's also an a lot more divisions encircled now. And yeah, let's continue our push. Did I lose my navy? What the fuck? Where did these come from? Hey, we managed to cap Fengtian by rushing for the victory points here, since I probably lost. Yep, they don't have war support, so don't have to go all the way to every victory point with them as usually. Let's destroy all these encircled divisions here. Alright, that's the Korean army from Japan encircled, which you like to see. And yeah, I think this is a done deal. I just need equipment. I mean, I have infantry equipment now, probably because I got all the infantry equipment when Fengtian kept, because I was like at negative 20,000 or so. It's not great, but we can only go up from here. And yeah, I did show it before I killed all these soldiers, so yeah, you can see how many they just lost with that one. But yeah, that is this conflict now done. Alright, we're currently quick building transports and stuff, and push these guys out. I researched that stuff while I was while I was like in my zone in here, so even before the Sino-Japanese War. And now we're gonna use them. I just gotta check if they have divisions there. Okay, so they only have divisions on the port here, so this should not be too hard. Let's wait for the orc, and then we go. And that's Taiwan secured. You know what would be cool? If securing Taiwan would take away some days on the Fading Sun, to be honest. Like, honestly, it would really do that, right? You know, them retaking the island here with Japanese naval dominance around here, you know? I could see that, you know, being a reason for it to, you know, be faster then. But it's 30 days anyway, I don't really care that much, honestly, but yeah. Just like an idea. Okay, like, my issue now is... While, like my issue is, I think, yeah, like, I cannot defend this anymore since my, you know, main supply hub is in Beijing. So once we're done, United Front disbands, there's no supplies getting through here. And I'd have to defend it against all of these guys. So I'm thinking of having all my divisions up here in the north, basically, and then pushing down. Yeah, I think that's like the best thing I can do. The only thing I can do. I was thinking, should I move some divisions in here now before we disband the United Front? But no, nah, this is like a disaster in the making. My industry's here, yeah, but like, I don't care. And I get course on Manchuria now, with the event that fires 3 times. Okay, I mean, I have this here, yeah, but like, I don't care. Divas are only, you know, an illusion meant to scare you into thinking you can't defeat anyone. And as a bonus, I get all of this south here. Isn't that great? Yep, please return to Beijing, because I actually need my victory points in the north. Alright, first we have to destroy Shandong. Okay, before I click that, I have no divisions down here, right? No. By the way, stop producing this now. Jesus Christ, I have factories now. And steel. Oh my god, everything I could ever ask for. We are so back, man. We're so back, bro. We're so back. I mean, I can demobilize. I don't need world economy anymore. I don't want to release the Burmese puppet because, if I give it to them, do I like, yeah, I need to give it to them. They're gonna declare war and they're in the Entente. I don't want to fight the Entente because you can separate peace them and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna give it to them. Alright, they all declared war on me now, but yeah, we only have to fight Shandong first. I got some more units out right now, so that's great. I realized, luckily, fast enough that I have Qingdao. So let's use that to push here, there, everywhere. It doesn't matter right now, as we cannot defend this, so yeah. So great that we have to fight them all at once. Alright, first loser is gone. I stop advancing. Need to reorganize. Germany, East Asia collapsed. Like, they just collapsed. They just fell apart. I think that's also the submod, by the way, if I remember correctly. I think it said they added like something similar to, like, you know, their problem once, you know, no Germany exists anymore. And stuff like that. Yeah, when I'm holding the supplies, I'm just gonna wait till I have more soldiers, because that's what I need, more soldiers. Okay, yeah, encircled a lot of divisions here in Jiangsu. They also captured Nanjing. My thrust towards the city actually worked for once. Usually I get bogged down and then, you know, can't really cross the river, no supplies, blah blah blah. But they could not reinforce it in time. So yeah, you know, stop attacking my supply up here, I need that. Alright, should not take any longer for them. Capitulate, maybe it does. I don't want to do a full front line, because I don't want to waste too much equipment on them. But now we can just rush for their VPs probably. I don't think they're gonna resist that harder, that much further. Nanchang wasn't fair. It wasn't enough, really, because they don't have cores on my territory here. I guess that could be enough then. Alright, bye-bye Nanjing. Now we have the entire Federalist block on our ass. So yeah, from one enemy to another. Alright, I have a bit of a plan to get rid of a lot of divisions. Wish me luck. Yeah, it actually worked. Nice. No, you don't do that. Random bullshit go tactic. I mean, as Sun Tzu once stated, if you have paratroopers, use them. You're more troops encircled. So yeah, we should be done with this pretty fast. Bro, I'm taking so long. They're already fighting. It means Mongolia though is free for the taking. I just need to be, you know, done with this before, you know, they win or they lose, whatever. Alright, once Hengyang falls, Hunan will capitulate. Bro, what? They were 97. Like, come on, bro. How much war support? They have full war support. Of course. Why not? No, why not? For me, why not? But once every victory point. Okay, didn't even guess 2 tiles were enough. As it always is. I don't really want to use my battle plan because, you know, there's fully powered Siege 1 click on top still, meaning I would bash my head against these guys, which I don't know how smart that's gonna be, since I have barely really microed anything on their front. But let's try to finish off Federalists. Just like Willin, Liu, Zhou, and Nanning, and then they die. And then they die. Then they're dead. That's it. They die. Yep, there they go. Now it's just Yunnan and Sichuan, and then we're done with this shit. I'm gonna leave their units there, I don't really care. And yeah, we're just gonna march to Kunming and take all the cities around there with us while we do that. And yeah, I think Kunming falls, they die. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. Alright, now save the best for last. Because I'm not gonna be bothered pushing in the north with all the mountainous terrain. That is absolute garbage. So we're just gonna push through here. For your information, no division is still the same. Now just a few cities over here or Daxian, and then they die. Since they don't have any course over here. They don't even control the states. Okay, we need Daxian. They have too much shit. They have too much war support, I suppose. Yeah, whatever. Daxian falls, they die. And yeah. From the brink of certain destruction back to national leadership. That was certainly one of the games of all time. 10 out of 10 would never do that again. God, like, I was thinking about restarting when I saw Feng Tian, like, in the middle of 1937 already doing their stupid their stupid declaration, bro. I hate when they just are able to fucking rush that, but whatever. I somehow survived that. And yeah, it didn't help that Federalists got like all in things in the south, so there was no war in the south. Sichuan being a bitch as always, and Shandong attacking me with 1 billion irregulars, which while they can't really push me, I can't really push them because I have no supplies. But yeah, whatever the case, we can declare the reunification of China now. Oh my god. An offer from Russia. Yeah, I cannot accept this because I need to get rid of their guarantee here. Anyway, there can be no opposition if they're all in the coalition, am I right, guys? I mean, with the Zhili clique now having like a sliver in the pie chart, Tusche kind of fulfilled his mission of the Zhili militarizing the government. Though, you know, Harmony Association is still stacked with Zhili guys. So, you know, at least, you know, you gotta count everything, right? Anyway, let's tie up loose ends. Oh yeah, you can also get a lot of claims, by the way, through this submod. So now we can, you know, claim everything here. So, yeah, whatever. Alright, let's get Mongolia. They shouldn't be protected by Russia. Now they're trying to, you know, fool me into thinking someone's gonna help them, but nobody's gonna help you. Russia's busy doing anything but helping you. And Tibet is not gonna get protected by India, which I clicked the decision and then thought about it, and I was scared for a second. Okay, before they push them out of the mainland, we're gonna justify and declare war on the Russians to get some territory back. Yeah. Well, today, 10 AM, 14th of December, 1944, so 4 days ago. Wu Peifu has passed away peacefully in his sleep. An eccentric figure dubbing himself China's George Washington, Wu has always had played a role in Chinese politics ever since the mid-1920s. Having reluctantly accepted German support to defeat the Kuomintang, Wu has been a major figure in northern China, having had mostly nominally unified China under the Qing dynasty until 1936, when order in China broke down after after the League collapse. With Wu now dead, a funeral was held for him in Beijing. The Jade Marshal can now rest peacefully in China. Let's take advantage of this moment. Oh, time to rid ourselves of the Zhili order in politics and win this war here, by the way. Okay, we managed to somehow get them to what percentage? 10%. Okay, it's 10% in the cities. Great, because France kept, so all their might is gonna get on to me now, which is not great, so yeah. And now we get all our claims back. I got some more claims from the focus, as you know, with the submod. So yeah, now we have, the greatest extent that we can get. There are some Burmese states that, like the puppet states I probably have where I could have gotten claims, but I, puppet them already. Forgot about that, but yeah. Anyway, the long and arduous road to democracy. With the death of Wu Peifu, Wu Shi wasted no time in beginning to foster actual democracy within the Republic of China. Now shedding the label of being part of the Harmony Association and an independent, he has now switched back to being an active member of the Endeavor Society. He and his camaraderie have begun work to finally democratize and stabilize China once and for all. No more shall China suffer under the boot of autocrats. No more shall we have fraudulent and rigged elections. It is time China takes steps towards having free elections. And with that, we now turn social liberal and get the Endeavor Society as our ruling party. Yeah, no hard feelings, Russia, I know. And we get the long and arduous road to democracy. So I think that's everything that you can now get from that. We don't really have a second in command. So yeah, let's empower a legislature, I guess. And let's annex these guys now. And yeah, now having annexed Shibisama and Xinjiang, we are truly unified now and even expanded our territory by a lot. And yeah, I would end it here now. So thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe, you've gotten interested in the submods. Like I said though, it's just some small cosmetic stuff here and there, and other than that, it mostly focuses on, having more state options, more border options, whatever. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye bye.